What a shocking scene this is. Some people are selling themselves for a price in a modern society. Well, no, this is a scene from a blind date in Shanghai. Stand up and let us have a look. Let's see the figure. Okay, small and delicate. It looks good. When were you born?
I have spelled it out clearly here. I'm 159 centimeters, born in 1989, weighing 49 kilograms. I don't smoke, drink, play cards, or gamble. Yes, I can cook.
Married or single?
Single.
I am deciding for her here. Under 60 years old.
This is my bottom line.
I'm just 2 years older.
Bottom line.
Ha 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 ha.
The bottom line is the bottom line.
I'm just 2 years older.
You're 62 years old?
I'm 62 years old. The woman carried a piece of laminated paper on which she printed her attributes as well as her expectations for marriage. Her attributes include being faithful, gentle, thoughtful, virtuous, and can cook. The requirements of the marriage partner are 30 to 60 years old, have a car and a home, no loans, 1.75 meters or more in height, monthly salary of more than 30,000 yuan, that is just over 4,100 US dollars. Priority is given to someone with no children, good temper, pamper me, no bad habits. If the male party is excellent, even with children, I will welcome it. The man should preferably be the only child in the family and be okay with his wife not working after marriage. I have a nanny at home who makes 1,038 US dollars a month. A live-in nanny costs more than 1,400 US dollars per month. The nanny has worked 13 years in my family, and the nanny gets paid 1,038 US dollars per month.
The point is I make a full-time wife, not a nanny.
The person has been working in my home for 13 years. If you were looking for a nanny, forget it. But I have a son already. I don't need to have another one.
But I want a child. You have a son? I don't. How clever you are.
Things like this are happening in some of China's big cities at present. The blunt bargaining in the video is hardly a reminder of the wonders of love. It's more like a marketplace, displaying the helplessness of contemporary Chinese under the high pressure of life. In order to cope, they have to be extremely cautious when it comes to marriage to minimize future misery. Never has the Chinese government placed as much emphasis on marriage as it does today, or for that matter, on procreation. Men and women who are willing to get married should be seen by the government as good and responsible citizens. For the government, what bothers them the most is the trend that more and more Chinese are unwilling to have children or even to get married. Back in August 2021, a marriage agency, in conjunction with a third-party data research agency, released a white paper on contemporary unmarriage in China 2021. It states that according to national statistics, the total number of single people in China as of 2019 was about 300 million. The white paper shows that the proportion of people who wouldn't get married in the single group was about 25%. That is, 1 in 4 singles choose not to get married. By today, the tide of staying single will only get stronger.
What I hate most is that poor people have to reproduce. I'm 23 years old with a major in Korean management at the Beijing Institute of Technology. I'm not into marriage. In addition, I absolutely won't have children. How come you're so determined? Marriage means many things. There is high survival pressure. What I hate most is that poor people have to reproduce, because then the result is that the child may actually develop low self-esteem. He or she will need a lifetime to heal from all their traumas. Have you ever suffered because of financial hardship? There are many moments where I have felt helpless, and there are times when your parents will pressure you. In other words, you have to meet a certain standard. You see, our parents weren't that well off financially, but they raised us. So, is it possible that we overthink the issue of raising children? Believing it to be too difficult? Their generation had a lot of advantages, and their previous generation would also sing the praises of suffering. But I don't think that's right. Aren't you worried that you'll be alone when you get older? What's there to worry about? You have had a fantastic 50 years, so what's wrong with the little suffering in the next 20 years? Although I'm cool and happy when I'm young, I also need to consider when I'm old. So I have to at least make enough money. If our generation doesn't marry and have children, What about the aging population? What does it have to do with me? I don't think it has anything to do with me. A single person like me won't matter. I admit I'm a bit selfish. I still care more about myself. I don't want to go through this kind of misery.
Economic factors have a direct impact on marriage and childbirth in China. China's National Bureau of Statistics announced on June 15th that the National Urban Survey unemployment rate stood at 5.2% in May, unchanged from April, but the unemployment rate for young people aged 16 to 24 climbed to 20.8%, the highest since records began in January 2018. This is the official figure, but it should have been higher in reality. Under the impact of such a high unemployment rate, some Chinese netizens started a new slogan on the social media platform Weibo: "Don't give birth to innocent children at random." It was immediately echoed by many netizens. Another person said, having children isn't something that people earning 3,000 yuan or $400 a month should even be thinking about. This reflects the pessimistic outlook of China's young generation. They don't want to have children and have the next generation repeat their lives of working overtime with low pay from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, 6 days a week. Here's the man who gave one of the most complete answers for not wanting to have children, and we've aired a clip of his speech before. Why am I childless? Folks, is it because I'm infertile? Absolutely not. As of now, my body is healthy. All health indicators are roughly normal. I have no children purely because I can't afford them. I mean, I can support them in terms of survival, but I can't raise them well. If it were only a matter of adding a pair of chopsticks, a bowl of rice, and raising children to work in a farm field, I have more than enough. But if I were to provide them with a scientific diet of safe, non-polluting staple foods and complementary foods, vitamins, and nutrients to arrange preschool tutoring classes, or if I were to have them learn piano, dancing, English, painting, and swimming, to have them work out in a gym and attend a private school, to have private lessons at home when teachers don't teach at school, or when they failed to get into a university of 985. I was able to send them overseas to study, and when they returned, I would have their wedding gifts ready and help them buy a home with 2 bedrooms plus a car, and finally, they gave me some fat little grandson. If I were to raise children by these standards, I can't do it. Maybe people would ask why you need to meet those standards. Who is forcing you? If you can't afford private schools, then attend public schools. If you can't afford piano lessons, then learn some folk art, like clapper talk. Problem solved. Nope, that won't do. Who is forcing me? The general environment. Everyone is doing it. Can you avoid it? As the saying goes, do you want your children to lose on the starting line? It doesn't matter if it works or not. If other people's children are doing it, I must let my children do it as well. Look around. Parents nowadays all seem proficient in playing music, chess, books, painting, martial arts, and calligraphy. Their children might not be as good, but anything less would mean they won't be as competitive. Not to mention extracurricular classes. At 7 a.m., the kid needs to go to school. Who will take him? At 3:30 p.m., when school is over, who picks him up? The teacher invites parents to school all the time. Who can make it? Who will keep an eye on the kids' homework every day? Handwritten posters, homework, decorative paintings, etc. All sorts of festivals and holidays. Parents are asked to fund the decoration of the classroom and have a good relationship with the school leaders. June 1st, Children's Day, was just on the top of the news search where it was the center of attention. On Children's Day, parents played beauty warriors on stage. Let me tell you, I watched the show. It was great, but do I have this kind of energy? And once the child is born, who will take care of it? These colleagues of mine have all left their children behind. Hey, both parents are busy. Grandparents take them to school and pick them up after school. On weekends, they say they want to take their children out to play, but the company needs you more than the children. We live under the same roof, but the children don't see their parents even once a month. Look, if I never see my child, what's the point of having a child? So far, I don't feel that I am ready to be a parent. Everyone advises me to have my own children and that I'll get used to it after a while. Your own children are cute. You will enjoy them. I know, but I still feel that I am a child myself. I am too selfish and childish. I complain about the hardships and difficulties of life every day. I am far from mature enough to raise a human being. Can I keep him from crying out on the flight? Can I keep him from running and goofing around in the movie theater? Can I teach him not to bully his classmates and not to be bullied at the same time? Can I treat him as an equal when he asks questions? Maybe I would be okay to be a parent, but if I don't think I could, then I don't deserve to be a parent. The fertility rate is declining, and people like me are to blame. It's projected 7 million or so new births in 2024. I can hardly imagine giving birth to a child and exhausting myself with my time, wealth, energy, and patience to raise him to adulthood. The day he graduates from college, I would call him to my side and tell him, "Son, you have grown up. Next, your father will pass on all his life skills and the art of ass-kissing. Now go and take the beating of society and face the test of life. I, at the same time, need to go to work overtime as I am not 65 yet and still must work. If we were lucky, we would work in the same office building. On the 11th floor, I am working overtime. On the 18th floor, my child is working overtime. At 12 o'clock at night, we, father and son, would carpool back to the home where we had just finished paying off the mortgage. On the weekend, we all get together to discuss how to get him a mortgage. I've always been asked, aren't you afraid that no one will take care of you when you get old? I don't have children, so I can burden them. Moreover, even when I get old, he would still have to work overtime, right? He must make money, right? So raising a child doesn't protect you at old age. Having money gives you protection at old age. I was also advised, shouldn't you consider it again? It's actually not as complicated as you think. So I have stopped thinking about this issue. I read online that a mother wrote in a letter to her child saying, "Your mother has already experienced and confirmed that the world is happy and joyful, so she brought you here to experience it. I'm here to tell you, my son, your father has already experienced it for you, and what I experienced in this world is different from that mother. So if you want to experience this world, go reincarnate in her family. Next lifetime, I also want to go to that family too." Someone commented, "Not buying a home is the greatest filial piety to your parents, and not having children is the greatest love and care for your children." In China, this is becoming a status quo and a common understanding among the majority of young people. It's reported that the video above was blocked all over the web in China, in large part because the man spoke out about the current state of high-pressure survival in China and the outcome that is so firmly and clearly stated, no more children. Chinese scholars believe that the effects of lower marriage numbers will continue for some time. Moreover, the development of younger generations delaying the age of marriage and decreasing their willingness to marry will be difficult to reverse in the short term. So what do their parents think about young people who don't want to have children? My child is almost 40, 39 years old.
His kids are getting big, right?
No, I don't let him have children.
He doesn't want them either?
Nope. You can enjoy life or go through suffering. The previous generation is our example. Have they enjoyed it at all?
They struggle with what to eat and drink.
Have your parents enjoyed themselves, eating, drinking, and playing?
No.
Why don't we learn from their experience? Isn't it a shame to live like that? What are we here for? In China, there's always been the notion of intergenerational kinship and extending the family line. It is not that elderly people don't want their children to have children, but they simply can't afford it. Over time, the elderly, who place great importance on such notions, have slowly lost hope and have let go of the tradition.
So many years. That son of mine, I tell you, from 20 years old to 40 years old, he remains unmarried.
Oh, your child hasn't married yet?
43 years old. There's no space. We only have one room, about 10 square meters. Who's willing to find you a daughter-in-law? Who's willing to marry into the family?
43 years old. How tall is your son?
1.7 meters.
Not bad. What does he do?
Work? He works in a printing company.
How much does he make monthly?
I don't even know. I never asked him. Just enough for himself. We have retirement income.
Did he have a girlfriend before?
Yes, but none worked out because there's no space, nowhere to live.
Your son has always been single. Has he ever married?
He has never married before.
So his income has to be more than $900 a month, right?
More or less.
Where do you live?
It's right in this area. Just 10 square meters. Right ahead.
Just 10 square meters a room, huh? Your home has a total of 10 square meters. That is 108 square feet, eh?
That's right. What do you think it is? If I had 20 square meters, I would have my son married.
So you are living with your son now?
Nope, he rents a place for himself.
Good boy. He rents his own place?
He makes little and has to pay the rent. How is it possible for him to get married?
How much does he pay for rent per month?
I don't know. We adults don't ask, and he won't say.
Then your child should also look good, eh?
Good looks are useless. Without money, you can't get a wife.
Your child is single too? Neither of your children are married?
We're both the same.
Are they both boys too?
Yes,
How old is your child?
the same. My child is also over 40 years old.
Over 40?
41 years old. Her son is 2 years younger than mine.
Ah, what does he do for work?
He has no job right now.
No job? No wife?
He won't get married.
Active matchmaking. Would they be interested?
Nope. What's the point of dating when you have nothing? After the match, there's no place to live once they get married. We have nothing to offer in the matchmaking.
He doesn't believe in love?
True love? Is there still true love in this world?
Ha 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 ha.
It's no longer a matter of love. Whatever it's supposed to be, so be it. I'm telling you, it's been 20 years of delay.
Yes, it's true. Your child has become a middle-aged man from a young lad.
I'm now 70 years old.
Really? Are you anxious to have grandchildren?
Nope, I'm not anxious anymore. There's no use if they don't want it.
Okay, well, I have someone suitable. I will introduce them to your children.
No, it's okay. I have tried it before.
Okay, so what are you going to do about it?
Just leave it alone and let it be.
But your fellow peers all have grandchildren.
She is also the same age, without grandchildren. What can we do?
The lack of wives for men is a structural problem in China, and the one-child policy has led to a serious gender imbalance, which has also affected the country's marriage population. According to the 2020 national census, there were 17.52 million more men than women between the ages of 20 and 40. On June 9, 2023, China's Ministry of Civil Affairs released its civil affairs statistics for the fourth quarter of 2022, which showed that 6.833 million marriages were registered last year, a record low since marriage statistics were compiled in 1986. Having young people get married isn't the goal of the Communist Party. The goal is to get them to have babies. Earlier in 2023, India surpassed China, the oldest population power. Now the advantage of China's cheap labor is fading and many foreign investors are leaving. In order to increase the birth rate, the streets of China have seen the ridiculous sight of slogans changing back and forth. One side of the sign reads, "Stabilize low fertility levels, count on you, count on me, count on everyone." The other side reads, "Fully implement the two-child policy." Fearing a shrinking population, the Chinese government has been introducing policies to encourage childbirth for years. It has revised its strict family planning policy twice in the past decade. First, in 2015, it ended the one-child policy that has been in place for decades. The second time, it escalated to the three-child policy, which is also incorporated into China's family planning policy. The policy was announced on May 31, 2021, at a meeting of the Political Bureau of the CCP on the aging population. Since then, the official media has continued to report on how the government has stepped up its efforts to encourage childbirth. The first step was to eliminate the social support fee for overbirth. It was, in reality, a penalty. Since it wasn't pleasant to the ear, the Communist Party coined a new term, social support fee. Subsequent policies include the extension of maternity insurance for the birth of 3 children, the extension of maternity leave from 128 to 188 days for female workers in various provinces, and the provision of concessions and subsidies when buying a home. The Chinese government has set a target of promoting the birth of 3 children by 2021, an appropriate increase in fertility levels by 2025, and a further improvement in the demographic structure by 2035. Can Red China meet this goal? It's tough. If you don't carry out the orders of the city government, you will be punished. After the penalty is carried out, it's going to affect 3 generations of your life. We are the last generation. Thank you.
小巧玲珑就太小，叫小巧玲珑，看不出。